In California, convicted killers Eric and Lyle Menendez have waited more than 35 years for a shot at freedom. They're going to have to wait even longer after a judge hit pause today on day one of their resentencing hearing. The brothers are fighting their life sentences without parole for the 1989 murders of their parents. They appeared today via video link from a prison near San Diego, and their hope was that a resentencing could lead to a quick release. But that hearing was quickly derailed. At issue is a new report from the State Parole Board addressing whether or not Eric and Lyle Menendez pose a risk to the public if they're released from prison. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman said he just received a copy of this report, and he said he wanted the court to see it as well. He filed a last-minute motion to delay the hearing so the judge could consider it.
It represents additional facts, and the prosecution doesn't fear facts. We want every single fact, good, bad, or otherwise, to be before this resentencing judge so that he makes the right decision.
All right, not surprisingly, the defense attorney, Mark Garagos, didn't see it that way. He lashed out. He said if the DA's office had access to the report, it gave the DA an unfair advantage. And Garagos asked that the entire resentencing proceedings be stopped while all these questions over the report's admissibility can be determined.
If you haven't noticed by now, the DA has turned this case on its head. Instead of protecting the victims, they savage the victims. Instead of seeking quick justice, they try to delay the inevitable. So it's like I said, they've turned the state constitution and they've turned the process on its head.
Now, after a several-hour delay, the hearing was finally just put on hold altogether with no date set to reschedule. A motions hearing is set for May 9th to hash this all out. All right, for more on all of this, let's go now to our legal panel, former homicide prosecutor Matt Murphy and criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. Matt, I'll start with you. What do you think is in this report? Why did only the DA get it? Shouldn't the defense have gotten it too?
Well, this is part of, there's three prongs here. There's basically three pathways that are pursuing. One is a habeas petition, which, well, it's a request for essentially it's a statement that new evidence exists, so it has to be reconsidered. The other is a clemency petition to the governor, and the third is this resentencing. So what's happened is the governor ordered this 90-day comprehensive risk assessment, which is within his power to do, and so it's a part of one of the other prongs or one of the other pathways. So I'm sure your other guest is eager to read it as I am. I'm very interested to see what's in it, especially since Hochman pointed that out. But I don't think it's improper for the court to want to consider that. These guys have been sentenced to LWOP, or life without possibility of parole. They're not going anywhere anytime soon, and I think that's probably a prudent move for the court to read it and at least determine whether he should consider it or not.
Brian, this is obviously frustrating. Mostly, I don't know if Eric and Lyle Menendez were frustrated. They've been in prison for many, many years. Maybe a few more months isn't going to bother them. But their family, who were all in court today, many of whom are very elderly, were very upset. The Menendez brothers' aunt is 85 years old, was just hospitalized after the last hearing when she saw some photos, very bloody, graphic photos from the crime scene. And the family is blaming this on the DA, saying they were blindsided by these photos. Do they have a point, or is this something you got to be up for if you're going to go to a hearing like this?
Yeah, hey, Elizabeth, great to be with you. I mean, the theatrics in this case recently have been boundless. And the issue with the photographs, the gruesome crime photographs, I don't think they're relevant for this resentencing. And if they were, then I believe that Nathan Hochman should have contacted the judge, had a preview of the photographs right first, cleared it with the judge, cleared it with Garagos' team before those photographs were thrown up in front of family members. So the argument Garagos and the Menendez brothers are making now is the DA should be recused. Why? Because he violated what's called Marsy's Law. What's that? That's a constitutional right now to victims to not be re-traumatized, and members of the Menendez family were arguably re-traumatized by that. But I don't think that maneuver by Hochman played well. And one other point, Elizabeth, is why is Hochman now wanting the risk assessment to all of a sudden become relevant and have it be part of this hearing? Because I think what you're going to find in that risk assessment report is that the Menendez brothers don't pose an unreasonable risk of harm to others, and they have rehabilitated. So I don't really see where the DA's means is leading to a cogent.
It does make you wonder what's in the report, since they're all fighting over who gets to see it and when they get to see it and how they get to see it. Matt, is there any chance that Garagos's motion to have Nathan Hochman tossed off this case will succeed?
No. There's no chance. This is called a 1424. I've done a lot of Marcy's Law. I'm sure Brian has as well over the years. It's very difficult to get a DA's office to recuse themselves or to have a court recuse them if they don't want to let go of it or if they don't want to go. And the standard is very high. And I've known Mark for years. I like Mark. Mark is a great lawyer. He always seems to have a cup of coffee in his hand for just about everything
he needs
he does.
A lot of caffeine.
Yeah, Mark is, Mark's doing his job, but there's, it did get heated. There was a lot of some pretty loaded language used today. But it's also important to remember there's no jury here.
Yeah.
This is a judge. So when it comes to graphic photos, this is something that's all been seen before. And, I think the family does have to steel themselves for this. This was an absolutely brutal crime.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that the victims are also Jose and Kitty Menendez.
Right.
Those
I know.
are the official victims.
Yeah.
So
the victims here are the parents. All right. To be continued. Matt and Brian, we will have you back as it develops. Because, boy, this is a case that doesn't seem to be resolved anytime soon. Thank you, gentlemen.